Hi everyone, I'm Candy from Susan's family. Today, I'm bringing you a animal hand warmer kitty version. For this electronic tutorial, you can view it on en.sussudiy.com. This cushion is divided into the head, lower body, facial features, and face decorations, tail and accessories. First, let's learn how to crochet the head, including the front and side. Start by crocheting the front. We will start from foundation chain and work back and forth. The stitches used include X single crochet and chain stitch. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Let's first familiarize ourselves with the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number, and H plus number indicates the row number. The increases and decreases explanation column shows the stitch techniques used for the current round, and any increases or decreases. The total stitches column indicates the total number of stitches after completing all the stitches in the current round. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, here, I'm using thick yarn for the demonstration, with random colors. For specific yarn, the color scheme, and the hook size, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, make a slip knot. Insert the hook. Adjust the loop size. Hold the yarn with your left hand. And then start the foundation chain. Refer to the chart to start the corresponding number of chain stitches. I'm using a smaller number of chains here, so it's not for reference. After completing the foundation chain, move on to the first row. Second to last means starting from the second to last chain stitch. Pick up one strand on the top of the chain. Work single crochets in sequence. Continue all the way down to the last chain space. That completes the first row. Move on to the second row. Make one beginning chain. Turn the work counterclockwise. Pick up the stitch below the single crochet. Work single crochets evenly. Note that because the work is turned, the stitch corresponds to the upper left corner. The total number of stitches should match the previous row. That completes the second row. Continue to the third row. Make one beginning chain. Turn the work. Just like the second row, pick up the stitch below the single crochet. Work single crochets evenly. The third row is complete. For the remaining rows, follow the same crochet method as the third row. Refer to the chart to finish it. If you run out of yarn in the middle, you need to join a new yarn. Start with an incomplete single crochet. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Then take the new yarn. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. This completes the joining. The single crochet is also complete. Continue with single crochets. When crocheting, wrap the joining yarn tail and the reserved yarn tail together as you crochet. After wrapping a few stitches, trim off the excess yarn tail. Follow the chart to complete the remaining rows. Once done, crochet a chain stitch to secure. Leave an 80 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Thread the yarn needle. Whip stitch to the insertion point of the first row. Do not twist the fabric. At the first stitch position, sew a couple of extra times. After sewing, tie a knot to secure. Weave in the ends. That's how you finish the right side. Next, let's learn about the sides. These are the positions on both sides of the right side. Join the yarn and crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique used is a short needle decrease. Please watch the demonstration. Take out the right side. Let's start with one side of the side. Attach the yarn to any side. Find a spot slightly to the left of the sewing position. Start attaching the yarn from here. Make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet in the same stitch. Then, pick up the edge and work single crochets. Continue all the way around this circle. After completing it, you can count the number of single crochets. Then, pick up the first single crochet stitch, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch. It needs to be tightened. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. In actual crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pull tight. This completes the first round on the side. Now, let's crochet the second round. Make one beginning chain. This beginning chain is not indicated in the chart. In actual crocheting in rounds, start each round with a beginning chain. The beginning chain of the single crochet does not count as a stitch. You can slightly tighten it. Next, BLO in the chart stands for back loop only. Each stitch has these two strands of yarn. The strand closer to you is called the front loop. The strand farther from you is called the back loop. For this round, work all stitches in the back loops. Note that the back loop of the first stitch is a bit shorter. You can pick it up a little looser. First, on the stitch below, refer to the chart and crochet the corresponding number of single crochets. After completing them, the chart shows 5x, times 3. The parentheses indicate a group. Times a number indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. First, crochet 5 single crochets. Then, crochet 1 single crochet decrease. The method for a single crochet decrease is: insert the hook into the adjacent position on the left side. Pull the yarn through. Then insert the hook into the next adjacent position, and pull the yarn through. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all loops at once. This completes the single crochet decrease. The group of stitches within the parentheses, 5SC, A, is now completed. I'll demonstrate it again. First, crochet 5 single crochets. Then, crochet 1 single crochet decrease. This completes the second group of stitches. The following stitches have been demonstrated before, just refer to the chart, and crochet accordingly. Finally, pick up the first stitch, and join with a slip stitch. This completes the second round. Now let's move on to the third round. Make one beginning chain. In this round, you will be picking up stitches. Follow the chart for the crochet pattern. Finally, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. This completes the third round. For the remaining rounds, refer to the chart. And continue until you finish the last stitch of the final round. I have already completed it here. Leave a 15 cm tail at the end. Thread the tail through a darning needle. Begin the finishing process. Pass the needle through the second stitch from the left. Then pass it back through the last stitch's back loop. Slightly tighten, tidy up. Finally, tie a knot to secure and weave in the ends. This completes one side. The other side is done in the same way. Everyone follow the chart to finish. That concludes the method for making the sides. Next, we'll learn how to make the lower body. It consists of the hands, feet, and body. Let's start with the hands. Use the magic ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. You'll need to change colors midway. A new stitch technique you'll use is the V-short needle increase. Please watch the demonstration. The chart shows that the casting on method is the magic ring. Start with an adjustable magic ring. The casting on is complete. Then move on to the first round. Make one beginning chain. Work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. After that, close the magic ring. And pull tight directly. Tighten the center of the piece. The magic ring is now closed. Next, in the first single crochet stitch of this round, make one slip stitch. If you can't tell, you can also count the stitches from back to front. It's this V-shaped loop. Slightly tighten. This completes the first round. Now, let's move on to the second round. Make one beginning chain. Start with one single crochet. Then, work one single crochet increase. That means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. One group is completed. Everyone, work 2 more groups. After completing, the second round is done. For the third round, work even with single crochets. Continue all the way to the second to last stitch. I have already finished here. After completing, since the fourth round requires a color change, the last stitch of the third round needs to be changed to the new color. First, work one incomplete single crochet, insert the hook, yarn over and pull through. This completes the incomplete single crochet. Take the yarn for the fourth round. Yarn over and pull through directly. This completes the single crochet. The color change is also complete. Next, join with a slip stitch using the new yarn. Remember to weave in the ends of the joining yarn and the original yarn. The third round is complete. Cut the original yarn, leaving a 10 cm tail. For the remaining rounds, just complete them. After completing, leave a 10 cm tail and cut the yarn. This completes one hand. Everyone, make another one. That's how you make the hands. Set it aside for now. Next, we'll crochet the feet. The method has been demonstrated before. Just follow the chart to finish them. I've already completed them ahead of time. Note that one should be fastened off, and one should not be fastened off. Move on to crocheting the body. Take the foot that was not fastened off. Start with 7 chain stitches. Then take the foot that was fastened off. Find the position of the first stitch. Crochet a slip stitch to join. Make one beginning chain. This is the first stitch of the first round. Continue with one single crochet in each stitch. When completed, when you encounter a chain stitch position, pick up one strand of the chain and work 7 single crochets. Then continue working single crochets without increasing or decreasing on the other foot. you will encounter another chain stitch position. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain and work 7 single crochets. This is the insertion point for the single crochets on this side. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. This completes the first round. For the following rounds, follow the pattern chart. Continue until you finish the second to last round. I have already crocheted this part in advance. Now let's work the last round. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 11 single crochets first. Then take out one hand. Press it flat. Place the slip stitch marks to the back. Insert the hook into 2 stitches on the hand edge. Then insert it into the body stitch. Work 1 single crochet together. This will join the pieces together. Then continue to work 3 single crochets in the same way. After completing that, work 5 more single crochets on the body. Next, take out the other hand. Press it flat and join by working 4 single crochets. After completing that, finish crocheting the remaining stitches on the body. Finally, join with a slip stitch. Leave a 50 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. This completes the final round of the body and connects the hands. The hands are now attached. Take an appropriate amount of filling cotton, stuff it in. That concludes the making method for the lower body. Thread the reserved yarn into a sewing needle. Next, take out the head. Locate the seam on the head. Press it flat. You'll notice one side is slightly narrower. One side is slightly wider. We'll start from the narrower side. Count down 17 rows from the first row below the seam. Mark it with a thread. The body seam takes up 12 rows. So count down another 12 rows and mark it with a thread. Sew it in the centered position on the head. Before sewing, temporarily secure it with a thread. I have already secured it here. The side with the hands should face you. Place the seam marks to the back. On both sides. About 18 single crochets each. Check if the head and body are proportional. You can add a little bit of stuffing. See how it looks when it's filled. If it's not quite right, make some slight adjustments. Once it fits properly, take out the stuffing. Then start sewing. Remove the temporary securing thread as you sew. This will complete the sewing of the lower body and head. Finally, cut a 30 cm piece of yarn. Thread it through a sewing needle. Embroider an X shape on the 4th and 5th rounds of the body. Next, we'll learn about the facial features, including the nose, the tip of the nose, the eye fabric pieces, and the blush, whiskers, eyebrows and ears. Let's start with the nose. Use a chain stitch to start. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique used is 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. Please watch the demonstration. Get the yarn. Start with a chain stitch. Then, work 9 single crochets from the 2nd stitch from your hook. Then, make a single crochet increase in the last stitch, which means 3 single crochets in the same stitch. That is, work 3 single crochets in the same position. Then rotate the piece. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain and work 8 single crochets. Pay attention not to insert the hook into the same position as the previous 3 stitches. In the last stitch, make a single crochet increase. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. This completes the first round. For the remaining rounds, the stitch techniques have been demonstrated before. Just follow the chart to crochet. Leave a 40 cm yarn tail for sewing. I have already finished this part. Set it aside for now. Next, let's learn how to make the nose. Start with a chain stitch. First, work back and forth. Then, crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Please watch the demonstration. Follow the chart first. First, finish the first 3 rows. I have already completed this part. Next, let's work the round 4. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the last stitch of row 3. On the second row of the left edge, work 1 single crochet in each stitch of the first row. Then, work 1 single crochet increase in the remaining 2 strands of the starting chain. After completing this, pick up the left edge and work 2 single crochets. Next, pick up the first stitch of row 3 and work 1 single crochet increase. Continue working 5 single crochets along the left side. Work the last stitch in the insertion position of the first stitch. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. This completes round 4. For round 5, work single crochets in each stitch of round 4 without increasing or decreasing. Finish this round. After completing it, leave a 30 cm yarn tail for sewing. Tidy up slightly. That completes the method for making the nose. Set it aside for later use. Next, let's learn about the blush. The new stitch techniques we will use are T-half double crochet and SL slip stitch. Please watch the demonstration. Take out the yarn. Start with a chain stitch. Then, work 1 single crochet in the second to last stitch. Follow with 5 half double crochets. When you encounter, it means the stitches inside the brackets are worked in the same insertion position. In this case, work 1 single crochet, and 1 slip stitch in the same spot. Do not tighten. Finally, leave a 15 cm yarn tail for sewing. That completes the method for making one blush. Everyone, make another one. Set it aside for later use. Next, let's talk about the fabric pieces for the eyes and eyebrows. The methods have all been demonstrated before. Just follow the chart to crochet. I have already prepared them in advance. Set them aside for later use. Next, let's learn how to make the ears. They are divided into the inner ear and the outer ear. Both use the magic ring method. Work back and forth. The new stitch techniques used include the TV half double crochet increase and the F double crochet. I'll demonstrate the crochet method for the inner ear first. Please watch the demonstration. Everyone should follow the chart to complete the first 3 rounds. Note that after completing the first row, do not join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. For the third row, the half double crochets are worked into the chain spaces between the half double crochets of the previous row. I have already completed this part in advance. Now, let's work on the fourth row. Start with 1 chain to begin. You can crochet a bit loosely. Then turn your work. Work 1 half double crochet into the first stitch below. Next, work 3 half double crochets into each stitch on the left side. Work 1 half double crochet increase, which means working 2 half double crochets in the same position. Work 1 double crochet into the chain space between the half double crochets on the left side. Work 1 ch1 picot, chain 1 picot. Start with 1 chain. Then pick up the front loop of the next double crochet. Work 1 slip stitch with the left yarn. Work 1 double crochet in the same insertion point. Next, work 1 half double crochet increase on the left stitch. Then work 3 half double crochets. Work 1 more half double crochet increase. Finally, secure with 1 chain stitch. Leave a 30 cm tail for sewing. That's how you make one inner ear. Follow the pattern chart to make another one. Once completed, set it aside for later use. The outer ear is crocheted similarly to the inner ear. Just follow the pattern chart to crochet it. I'll explain the final row in the middle position. First, work 1 double crochet. Then, work 2 chain stitches. In the second to last stitch, pick up the back loop and work 1 slip stitch. That's the back loop of the chain stitch. Once completed, continue to work 1 double crochet in the insertion point of the previous double crochet. Then, follow the pattern chart to crochet in the left stitch. You will make 2 ears in total. Once completed, set them aside for later use. That covers the ears. Next, we'll sew the facial features. Start by sewing the ears. First, sew the inner ear onto the outer ear. Make sure the right sides are facing you. Once completed, thread the reserved yarn from the outer ear into a yarn needle. Sew it 36 rows away from the body. On both sides of the head. After one side is sewn, sew the other side as well. Now, I'll demonstrate the method for sewing the ears. Pay attention to ensure that the inner ear stitches don't show on the wrong side, to maintain a neat appearance. Once completed, tie off and weave in the ends. Make sure to hide the other yarn end as well. This completes one side of the ear. Now, sew the other side as well. That's it for the ears. Next, let's place the facial features on the face. To see how they look on the right side, position the eyepieces 16 rows away from the body. Leave about 7 stitches between the two eyes. Center them roughly. Place the eyepieces with the wrong side facing up. Place the blush on either side of the eyes, a little bit away from them, with the wrong side facing up. Sew the eyebrows above the eyes, leaving 3 rows between them. And position them at an angle. I'll demonstrate the sewing method for the eyes. Now, please watch me demonstrate. Once you've found the right position, apply a little glue to secure it in place. Thread the reserved yarn from the eyes into a sewing needle. Pick up a few stitches from the head, and sew the eye fabric piece in place. Once completed, tie off and weave in the ends. Finally, attach the finished eyeball to the fabric piece. Everyone, sew the other eye in the same way. Make sure it's securely sewn. Next, I'll demonstrate the sewing method for the nose and the tip of the nose. For the nose, we need to use some yarn to temporarily secure the fabric piece to the head. About 1 row away from the eye fabric piece, it should cover about 6 rows on the head. You need to sew it with this kind of curve. So start by securing the middle position. About 4 rows down. Use the same color yarn as the head to secure it. Once completed, begin sewing. The method is similar to sewing the eyes, but you'll also stuff it with fiber fill as you sew. Cut a length of yarn and separate 2 strands. Thread them into a darning needle. Come out at about the middle position. Insert the needle 4 rows apart. Secure the middle. Once it's fixed, start sewing. As you near the end, stuff it with fiber fill. Then take a strand of the same color yarn as the eyebrows. Separate one strand. Above the nose, embroider some short stitches according to your preference. These will be the spots. Once done, weave in the ends. Next, take the nose tip. And sew it onto the nose. The method is similar to the nose, but some parts are sewn onto the head. Some are sewn onto the nose. Pay attention to the pointed side facing down. Stuff a little bit of fiber fill. Then cut a 60cm strand of the same color thread as the eyebrows. Thread the needle according to the position in the finished product image. Embroider 3 long line segments as the whiskers. Do the same for the other side. That's how you make the facial features. Next, let's learn about face decorations. They include band-aids, scars, and the expression. For the band-aid, just follow the pattern chart to crochet it. After completing it, sew it onto the head. On the right side of the eyebrow, about 6-7 single crochets. Sew it on with a crossing stitch, with the wrong side facing up. Next, refer to the finished product image for positioning. And embroider the scar and the expression. Let me demonstrate the method. First, let's embroider the scar. Cut a 30cm yarn tail, thread it into a sewing needle. Start at the position of the left whisker, and embroider a long line. It should cover about 4 rows. A horizontal line with 5 single crochets distance. Embroider the arc. Apply some glue. Then, embroider 4 small line segments on top like this. After completing it, weave in the ends. That's how you embroider the scar. Now, let's embroider the expression. Cut a piece of yarn in the same color as the bandage. I'll place it randomly here. Everyone, embroider according to the shape in the sample image. Each arc is made up of 2 strands of yarn. After completing it, tie off and weave in the ends. That's how you make the text expression. That concludes the facial decorations. Next, let's talk about the tail. The crochet methods have been demonstrated before. Just follow the pattern chart to crochet. After completing it, sew it onto the back of the body. Round the 7th round from the bottom. Press it flat and sew together. Everyone, sew it up yourself. Roughly centered. That concludes the tail. Next, let's learn about the accessories. It includes the lining, scarf, and fish bones. Please watch the demonstration. Next, take out the head. The sample is not for reference. Turn the wrong side towards ourselves. That is, the side with the sewing marks. Press it flat. You will notice one side has 2 points. Take out the lining. Align it from one point. Then fold this side in half. Fold along this point. End at the other point. Everyone cut off the excess part. On the right-hand side. Leave a part and cut off the excess. Turn the wrong side towards ourselves. Overlap and sew the longer edge. Leave the side seam unsewn. Cut a 60 cm white thread. I'm using random colors here. Pull out one strand. Thread the needle. Start sewing from the edge. Everyone sew the entire long edge. When done, you'll have two sides with holes. Insert the lining into the head. First, sew one side to the edge of the head. Fold it in a bit. Secure the yarn tail first. Pick up the crease of the lining. Sew it to a few strands on the backside of the head. Make sure the stitches don't show on the right side. Sew all the way around. When done, tie off and weave in the ends. Next, stuff some filling cotton between the lining and the head. Fill it evenly. Stuff it moderately and evenly. Do the same for the other side. After stuffing the cotton, you can thread it through this hole in the lining. Try it on, to see if it fits properly. If it fits well, sew the lining together. Use the same method as the other side. Note that you can pull the lining a bit to adjust. Make sure the lining doesn't wrinkle. You can sew a bit more. Check as you sew to ensure the lining doesn't wrinkle inside. That's how you sew the lining. Next, let's learn about the scarf. We will start from foundation chain and work back and forth. No new stitches are used, just follow the pattern chart to crochet. Finally, wrap it around your neck. Then take out the fishbone. Trim it according to the paper pattern. Finally, stuff the head and secure it with glue. I won't apply glue here. Once done, stuff it. That's how you make the fishbone. Up to this point, we've covered this product. If you have any questions while crocheting, or any unclear parts, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family. Support your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.